Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic. And welcome back to the YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have you back here together again. And in today's video, we're doing I believe the 24th part of 6 MCU movies. I want to make part 24. Let's go ahead and get started talking about these next 6 movies. If you don't know who Daryl is, he's actually a character that was in one of those little Thor shorts that was showing what Thor was doing during the events of Civil War. It was kind of for fun, but I would want to see more of the Daryl character. I never actually saw those Thor shorts, but I want to know what it's about because it sounds pretty interesting to me. Now, one of the interesting things I would really like to see between the events of Endgame, after the events of Endgame, and before the events of No Way Far From Home, is just to see Spider-Man battling bad guys. You know, we get that little one short called Peter's To-Do List, where he's like getting a passport and then he fights bad guys in the Iron Spider suit, but we don't really get to see him in action. Now, granted, if you remember my Miles Morales movie that I had a sequel to, where Miles Morales, I guess, fights Doc Ock, I plan to show Peter Parker's Spider-Man training Miles and that will take place between the events of Far From Home and Endgame. It could happen. There's like 8 months that pass between that. There's plenty of time for that stuff like that to happen. But it will be an interesting story to see what Spider-Man is doing between the events of Endgame and No Way Far From Home. Now, this is a movie where I feel like we could actually bring in the return of the Frost Giants. Well, not really the Frost Giants, but you have all these different characters, all these different foes coming from all these different realms and mind controlling them. And this could be like a Thor movie, but it's also kind of like all of Asgard and superheroes. And it could kind of be like this major event where all these people are being mind controlled by this Nornfrost, which basically has like this mind control ice. And I think it would be kind of interesting, something kind of like Loki would be doing. I took inspiration from this Lego thing where Loki would throw snowballs at people, and they would become these super powerful people. So that way they could become Loki's army. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. So I wonder how that would be in the MCU. So this is an interesting film because it's not technically like Civil War again, but it's kind of what if they actually took that plotline of Civil War and they actually made it about the Avengers, and in the end the ending casualty is the Avengers get disassembled. Is that they start out pretty good at first, and then there's things about them that they can't really trust about each other, and so with that they just, because of the things that's going on with them, they have to go their separate ways because they're just not good together anymore, and it's not going well for them. It's kind of like a dating movie, you know, like you don't really feel the vibe anymore, so you go your separate ways. So it's kind of like that, but not in the way you would expect. Don't really know too much about it, but it's an idea. Okay, so part of this idea was kind of inspired from when I went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 last week. And part of that is I want to see a movie that's kind of a mixture of Robin Hood in space, except they gender swap it with Gamora being Robin Hood, and the Ravagers kind of have this new story, while at the same time exploring the backstory of what the Ravagers were like when Yondu was leader, and explore a little bit more of Peter Quill's backstory, but also face a threat to the Ravagers. Like, the Ravagers are these people that just go out and try to steal things, but they're kind of working throughout the galaxy and trying to, with Gamora being here, she's kind of like trying to teach them in a new way, but also that they're facing threats that that the Ravagers never really faced any threats before. So I think it would be really complex. Granted, it's not going to be James Gunn directing this, so I'm going to try to capture as much as I can with this one if I can make it. I think it's a project I really would like to watch and see, and really see the character of Gamora grow, at least this version. Alright, so basically, I want to make a story that's different from the New Mutants film that we got a couple years ago. But I want to make a movie that basically has all these different mutant kids. And I was thinking, well, what if this movie could be about the kids from the MCU that are basically the MCU's X-Men that basically have the X gene that are born mutants? Like my prediction of the X-Men, like, honestly, now thinking about it, my prediction of what the X-Men team will be like, sure, they could do whatever they want with the Secret Wars stuff. My personal opinion, what if they just bring in some of the characters that are already mutants in the MCU? Like Miss Marvel and Namor, who were born mutants. Could make sense. But with New Mutants, I feel like, they're making a movie about this group of characters, these group of mutants who are gaining powers for the first time. Maybe kind of like make it like that sequel to Shark Boy and Lava Girl. It can make it something like that, and they would have to save the world together, something like that. It would be like what is the name of that movie? Hang on, let me check. Shark Boy and Lava Girl sequel. I think it's called We Can Be Heroes. So yeah, it'll be something like We Can Be Heroes, except if the kids are mutants, something like that. But it's gonna be a totally different thing, and it's not gonna be a horror film. I don't want to make that was kind of like the good aspect of New Mutants, is that it was a horror movie. That's not really what I want to do here. I want to make a superhero film that's heroic, kind of like We Can Be Heroes, and just make something kind of different. So that's my next 6 films. With this series, I feel like it's gonna get tiring because I'm like, when will this series end? And I can just focus on actually talking about the movies that I want to make. But I just want to shout out the ideas first. I want to shout out the movie projects that I have planned, and then we'll get to talking about the movies and then we'll get talking about deep into the films that I am currently in the process of making. Some of these, I'm kind of thinking about them in my head as we go along. I don't really have anything written down yet, but I will one day. But I want to get out all the project ideas first. I probably should just start with one thing first and then announce all the other projects later, but I really want to get all the ideas out first. So that's my next 6 films. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff in the about section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.